Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. And this video we're going to talk about poncho liners. And I found a new one. Well, maybe it's not that new. It's new to me, but it's definitely a poncho liner unlike any poncho liner I've ever seen. Be right back with you. So, welcome back. And before we get started, I appreciate you subscribe to my channel. We're over 1,000 subscribers now. I really appreciate all of you who have subscribed. But if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to help me out. Why not? Help me out. Anyway, subscribe to my channel. Share with your friends and your enemies. Both. Everybody deserves to have a right to whatever this is. And give me a thumbs up. And I definitely look forward to your comments down below. I try to answer everybody's comments. If I don't answer it, I do apologize. But I will. I'll figure it out. I'll find it and I'll talk to you about it anyway. And you can always contact me through all the back channels, that kind of stuff. A lot of you do contact me. And so I really appreciate your questions and your answers and your ideas and your concepts. It's really nice to hear from you. Anyway, so let's get on with this. I have been using a poncho liner since I was a little boy. My father gave me one when I was a little boy, along with an e-tool and a canteen and a web belt when he was in the Army stationed at Fort Hood, Texas with the 1st Cav Division. And during this time, he was going backwards and forth to Vietnam, this kind of stuff. So anyway, but he gave me one, and I still have it, believe it or not. I've looked for it today, but I can't find it because I don't really use it anymore. And the reason, I think I have it stored away in my bedroom, sort of. I have it folded up somewhere. And the reason why is because that thing is 50 years old, okay? It's more than 50 years old, I would say. And it's the old camouflage from the Vietnam War. Now, when I joined the Army in 1986, didn't see a poncho liner until I got to my first unit, my first duty station. But before that, we had the good old wool blanket, and that was for basic training and AIT. So those are all really nice. Didn't even have a sleeping bag in basic training. We just used wool blankets, and you didn't need them because it was so hot where I was going to basic training at. That those of you know the South, it's hot anyway during summer. Anyway, so but when I got to my first unit, I got a poncho liner. Now, some of you call them a woobie. I don't call them a woobie. I don't know any infantrymen who do call them a woobie, and if they do, they're not in the infantry because we call them poncho liners. Woobie is some kind of a thing that's made up by people who don't live under them permanently. We lived on them permanently. We really couldn't, with the Alice pack and all the gear we had to carry, we weren't able to really carry a sleeping bag. So quite often, all year round, we just lived under the poncho liner, and that's what we used. And I'd gotten my first one, which was a woodland one. Now, I don't have that one anymore. With the divorce of with my ex-wife, with separation, she kept my poncho liner. And the reason why is because it's really good for the beach. You can lay it out at the beach and lay on it, and it's fantastic for that. It dries out very quickly if it was to get wet. And it makes a really nice cover. I do apologize. I've been sick for the past 2.5 weeks, and I'm still under the weather. That's why I'm not outside doing this. I'm trying to avoid going outside too much, although I do. But I'm just sort of... And I went camping this past weekend, which was fantastic. Slept great. But anyway, back to the poncho liner. So nowadays, a lot of people are making them. They've realized and this is something that I've been wanting to do in business for many years, and that's to reinvent the poncho liner. But now everybody's doing it. And so if I'd have had the funds 20 years ago, I would have immediately done it. But now a lot of people are reinventing the poncho liner. You have Helicom Tex, which has the Swagman, which, by the way, that's a fantastic. I use it. I actually have 2 of them here. I have a Swagman, and I had the newer one, which is basically a quilted looking. It's a little bit stiffer. That thing needs to be washed, I would say, in some cold water. And then I also have the Kifaru. It's called a Woobie, and this right here is really nice one also, but very expensive, but very, very nice. And then I got myself this one right here, which was in like the frog camo. Now I pull these out if I got visitors like that. They're cold. They can always get under them. But here recently, I found a company called Rumpl. Now, I looked at their website and I thought, that's fantastic. Then I found someone who was dealing them. So, and like dealing of anything, I rushed over to have a look at that. And this is what I got. Now, it's a bit bigger than most of them. It's a little bit heavier. But man, this thing right here is a completely different level. Now, this right here is not their normal Rumpl. You can get them, they're just plain colors, this kind of stuff, these quilts. But they're thicker. They have a lot more warming insulation in them. And I'm going to show you that in a minute. But let's talk about it first, okay? These things are made by recycled plastic bottles. There are 16 of them that make the junior size, and 60 that make the one person, this is a one person, and 100 that make the two person size. I thought that was pretty cool because they are made of plastic, nylon, this kind of stuff like that. And it's all the same stuff. It's all petroleum, and they're recycled, and they make them. So is it warm? Heck yeah, it's warm. I've tried it already. The thing is really warm. But anyway, it's 100% post-consumer recycled polyester shell and insulation. It's a DWR finish for stain and water resistant. It's a really nice ripstop material also. When you look at it, you can't really see it in this picture right here. It's got a cape clip on it for one person size only use, and I'll show you that in a minute. And just for hands-free use, you can sort of put it over like a cape. It's got corner loops on it, and it's a water resistant stuff sack included, which you see right here. And the stuff sack actually resembles a lot of what it looks like. Now, what they've done is this one here is called the Cuyahoga Valley National Park. And what they've done, they've taken a scene from there that's been printed, painted, and then they printed it on these right here. And they have different national parks. Now, I liked it because I thought it's a beautiful piece of art also, okay? And it just even have a little patch that they made up on there of the park, you know. But it's really, I mean, here you see it's got a deer on there. This is basically a good interpretation of what you see on it, you know. I like that. I thought that was really nice. Something not too military, but at the same time, it does what it's supposed to do, and it's an insulating blanket. Now, let's talk about the care for this right here. Now, if you need to wash them, it's pretty much like all the Poncho Liners. These blankets are machine washable, and they recommend using a front-loading washing machine on cold and adding in Granger's brand detergent for the best cleaning results while preserving the DWR. Hang dry or toss in the dryer, tumble dry low. Okay. Now, I'm going to give you the size of these things right here. Now, this is the one person, but let's go with the junior. The junior is 28 by 40 inches. Okay, so this is made for kids. Okay. One person is 52 by 75 inches. The two persons 84 by 80 inches. And they're packed. The junior is 5 by 7 inches packed. The one person is 7 by 16. This is 16 inches by 7. And the two persons 8 by 19. And the weight of these things, the junior weighs about, it's 0.6 pounds. This one here is 2.1, which is about 900 and something grams actually. And the two persons are 3.7 pounds. Fabric's 100% recycled 30D ripstop polyester fabric. Okay, very lightweight ripstop. Insulation is 100% recycled 3D hollow fiber siliconized synthetic insulation, 240 grams per square meter. Okay, now let's get this. Now, when you get it, it comes like this right here. Has a little hook on it, a little carabiner on it right here, which is okay. You can sort of hang it up in the car or whatever if you keep them in the car. Actually, this would be a pretty good blanket to have in the car because it takes a little bit less space. Now, as long as it doesn't get wet, you're all fine. Most of these things are, but if you see the back side, it's that sort of like that puke green that we used to see on the military vehicles, but it's not bad. Okay, so this is what the back side looks like. Okay, and you can see the quilted. It's a wavy quilt sewing, the way they've done it, you know. And then they have all these instructions on it, which I haven't taken these off yet, but I plan to. And these are all under penalty of law of this tag not to be removed except by the customer. Penalty of law. My goodness, man. All new material consisting of 100% polyester fiber batting. And they have the address. This is in Oregon, actually, this company is. So, Portland. I'm surprised they find somebody to do some work over there. Now, let me show you how this thing looks, man. This is... You have the waterfall here. You have the deer in it. Let's see. Okay. And the flowers and the little. I think it looks great. I love it. I love it a lot. You know, I like the way it looks. And it has these little hooks on it, like you see here. And what you can do is that these are. It has little paracord on the ends, on all the four corners. But it has these hooks only on one side. Okay. And what you can do, it's got a little fast sticks type hook here. I think I'd rather see it with the other hook. And you can take it, put it around you. Okay. Like I said, it'd be a lot easier if it had just to take off the carabiner and use that. I think it would be much better if they did it that way. But it all hooks in there, and you can wear it around you. Now, around the fire, they do have fire-resistant versions, which is actually a pretty good idea, especially going to be around the fire. But this right here is more like around the camp, around the house. If you're in the chalet, it's a little bit cool out. You're outside, just sort of, just chilling out. And man, this thing is thick. It's really thick, and the insulation you can really feel, and it's warm. And you get warm, you feel warm pretty quickly. It really holds on to your body heat, and it gets warm very quickly. Do I like it? Heck yeah, I like it. Is it worth the money? I think so, because Poncho Liners are getting more and more expensive. I was in Budapest, and I visited a surplus store called the Legionnaire, and pretty good surplus store, I would say. But they know the value of what they got. And they're M81 Woodland camouflage poncho liners. They were selling for $80. Okay. So for me, I was like, damn, that's a lot of money for a poncho liner. I remember paying $25, I think, brand new in the clothing and sales, but that was also, more than 30 years ago. So, and if you can find a deal like that nowadays, buy them up, man. If you can buy them for $20, $25, buy them up like hotcakes, some for $50, and you're going to make a good price on them. But anyway, this one right here is actually quite good. I think worth the price because of the fact that it's a real duvet. You can actually buy several of these, have them at home. Duvets cost about the same thing, the really expensive ones. These right here, you can just have them you don't need to put a cover on them. You can carry them in your car very easily. Carry them on a. Now, would I will backpack with this thing right here? No, not really. I just carry a sleeping bag with me. It's just too much. It's just a pretty object, it's a pretty thing. And quite often, I would say if you have a romantic night, you bring your girl out over, and you pull out a couple of these right here, or you pull out a double one like this right here, I think she would be pretty impressed with that, especially if you're an outdoor kind of guy. That would reflect your outdoorsmanship. Instead of pulling out a camouflage one, you can pull out one that looks nice like this right here. Anyway, that's about it. Is it worth the price? I think so. I think it's nice. I mean, I guess over here, when you buy these things, they're pretty expensive already. Duvets are. And a lot of and I don't like the ones with the feathers in it. I like the synthetic stuff better. It's too humid here for it. This right here works really well, especially if you're in a place that's not in a cold, dry area, but a humid, cold area. These would be much better for dealing with that humidity. So pick yourself up one, and it'd be a nice thing to have. Anyway, let me know what you think. Do you have one of these Rumpls? There are lots of quilt companies out there. I mean, I'm getting loads of. It's funny. The moment I bought that thing, suddenly I got a bunch of publicity on my online, on my Facebook, everything else for these kind of quilts. And a lot of companies are making them, but this right here so far is the nicest one I've seen. I really like it. Now, they do exist in olives or gray, which are really nice, and those you can probably stuff them in a stuffed bag, get them really compact, carry them out with you, use them during the summertime. So here would be, like I said, it'd be nice for the wintertime. It's quite warm. It's warmer than your standard poncho liner. I would say 3 times warmer. It's really, now there's no information on its ability, what its temperature rating is. There's nothing about that. So I can't say anything about that. I would say if you wanted to just have a lightweight one, sort of like, you think you can get it, now you can get a sleeping bag that keep you warmer for under 3.7 pounds. But you can also grab yourself one of these right here for a 2-person and use it for yourself really easily, and just put a zipper on it, and you can slide in if you want some really hipster looking And it is what it is, you know. The shop I bought it in was an outdoor mountaineering shop, lots of Patagonia stuff in it, but and they're really well known. And they had this hipster section, and they do it because they do a lot of van life, you know. And so these are here actually are really good for that. I mean, you can have these inside your vehicle if you're going to do if you do vehicle camping and kind of like that. These are quite nice, much nicer than going out and using sleeping bags. You can just use these right here. You and your wife, your girlfriend, your partner, whatever, a family, you guys can all snuggle up underneath one of these right here, even around your fire, or you're cooking at night, sitting around, or like I said, sleeping inside of the camping car or whatever you're doing. So anyway, there you go. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you did enjoy it, like I said, give me a thumbs up. Let me know what you think about it. Might not think much about it, but like I said, I'm a poncho liner kind of guy, and I love poncho liners. I still, I love having a poncho liner with me. I didn't carry a poncho liner out with me this past weekend because I had a really big double ECWC, the Army issue sleeping bag. By the way, that is the most impressive sleeping bag I've ever had in my life. I've never had anything better than that. And I've slept in lots of different types of sleeping bags, from Corinthia to all the name brands you can imagine, even some that are supposedly ultra warm, just kind of like that. But that system, that makeup, is just the warmest I've had and most comfortable I've been. It was -8 degrees. And that thing really just did its job. I mean, it did its job very, very well. So there you go. I hope you all have a pleasant day. Keep me in mind, and enjoy the video. Talk to you later. God bless. Goodbye.